Welcome to the Clean Slate with your hosts, Daniel Garza and Carson Phillips, providing you with movie news, reviews, and more. Sit back, relax, and don't forget to go to the concessions to get your popcorn and drinks. For your entertainment, this is the Clean Slate Podcast.
Welcome back to the Clean Slate Podcast. I'm Carson Phillips. That's Daniel Garza, and this is Brick, the review.
All right, guys, we are finishing up. We're in the last week of Noirvember, and then we are quickly moving on to Christmas. So, guys, we have the last movie of Noir for you, and it is, like Carson said, Brick. A teenage loner pushes his way into the underworld of high school crime ring to investigate the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend.
This reminds me of my high school experience.
all of ours, really.
What if I talked like... I don't even know how to do that in person. Yeah, I don't want to do it. I couldn't commit. I was scared. This would be on the internet forever. Yeah. I don't want to try it. Next year, I'm going to really commit.
Let's just say character. Brick so much this episode so that when we make the clips, people know what movie we're talking about. Brick.
Bricked up.
Brick. That was crazy. All right, guys.
Bricked up with Rick.
So, Carson, tell us what the plot summary is of Brick.
Yeah, so this movie has a nuts
Wait,
plot,
what movie?
But it's also Brick.
Okay.
It's also pretty by the books noir film in a lot of sense. But we kind of hone in on a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Love it or
I don't know. Levitt.
Okay.
I do love him. And I don't know if this was one of his earliest performances, but it definitely is on the earlier end
for
of
sure.
things.
He's pretty young in Brick.
I don't know. I just don't know if it was before 10 Things I Hate About You or not.
I'll find out.
Which he's barely in, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so this is an early film from him. Also, Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So a lot of you hate him. I like that movie. That's a different conversation. But he also did Knives Out, for all you Knives Out fans.
That's so crazy.
Looper,
I don't remember him in Knives Out.
Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it, but it's like he's barely in it.
That's so funny.
Like you don't see him. I think it's like a
he's
cameo
literally just a
thing.
voice. It's credited him as a voice. Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is the earliest film from Rian Johnson as far as features go. I know it premiered at Sundance, and plot-wise, we're introduced again to Joseph, and he's in this he's kind of like a detective, I guess, at this high school, and he accepts a case from this young lady who's like, hey, there has been a murder, basically. Mm-hmm. And from there, we don't know who the murder was, what happened. We know very little. We know less than Gordon does. And from there, he's kind of diving into this world of crime and drugs and sex and parties and moms making you pizza bites while you're interrogating
Writing
someone.
Up the whole crime.
And that's the gimmick of this, is it does take place within a high school setting.
Yeah.
Most of the background actors are actual high schoolers, and you can tell by their acting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Like, let's take this hardcore noir film story and place it in a setting that is very filmable and easy to do. Super low-budget film. I think they filmed it in, a month as well. Super interesting. So I'll get into my likes more, but that's essentially the plot. I don't want to spoil too much because there is a mystery going on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the surprises are fun, even though you kind of know where it's going.
Okay. So starting off with likes and dislikes, or starting off with likes, is that this movie actually is a pretty, gripping story from the beginning. It doesn't start off necessarily super slow. You kind of, jump right into the action and the mystery of it all. The one thing I did love, even though it is it's almost 20 years old, this movie, one thing that I did love is that the cinematography and the editing style of it is so good. Kind of like what you said, it is a cut and dry, noir movie. Some of the dialogue, the back and forth kind of thing of just getting information, that's right there at the beginning of him trying to solve the mystery. But at the same time, in the movie Brick, that they have like a lot of these cool editing sequences, like the car scene that he's going through, or just even the play on the shadows, and then people hiding in the shadows coming out of nowhere. Like the movie is really cool, and it's visually like pretty spectacular. Like this is they shot it in very, very Southern California, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
like, it's so cool.
Clemente,
Yeah,
maybe.
San Clemente,
I think they might have shot it there.
Yeah.
You know, something that's kind of cool too, going off of what I guess I'll get into my likes. Based off the editing, is I guess it's partially, and the visuals are partially based on Cowboy Bebop, which is like the greatest anime of all time. Don't come after me for that statement, but I love that movie, and it has like this, or that show, and it has like a jazz soundtrack and stuff. And this kind of has a similar vibe that they accomplished pretty well,
For sure.
And then on top of that, you know, like you said, the story is super captivating. But for me, my biggest like is just the heart behind making this movie. Like he was obsessed with noir films and books and stuff like that, and this movie is a love letter to that genre, and done in a way that really, if you have a little bit of money, you can make this movie. Money and talent, obviously, but it's low budget. It's super kind of a niche story, and it works really well, and that inspires me as like a creative person. Like I could do this, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why I really get hooked in on this.
Okay.
Movie was originally recommended to me by my old roommate Cade Santa Cruz, who doesn't listen or care about this.
Oh,
but
so sad.
great movie. And I think if you haven't seen it and you want to see a pretty popular director do his first film, and some now popular actors do some of their early work, with a story that would not be told in like normal Hollywood, like this wouldn't get made. If he wanted to make this now, it'd have to be a passion project. So I think it's cool that, you know, films like this exist, and a lot of people don't know about them. So you should check it out if you haven't.
Yeah. Fun fact, though, I mean, it's not like an actual fun fact, but something that I thought was interesting is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Lucas Haas, they both meet again later on in Inception. They, I don't know if you remember Lucas Haas, the Pin. He plays the like designer person, whatever that ends up getting got. But kind of funny, because right when I saw him, I was like, wait a second, I know this guy from somewhere. And lo and behold, in Inception. But okay, so,
that's funny. He's young in this. Then
they're both really young. Okay, so let's get into
also the tunnel scene. If you guys haven't seen this movie, is expert filmmaking from like a first time director. I have no idea how they made that look so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I love it. But
anyway, okay, so get into your dislikes.
This movie's super flawed. I mean, it very clearly is like a first effort at a feature film.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I would do any better, but there's clearly some flaws in the storytelling. Maybe even not necessarily the acting. I think the core cast is good, but you can tell the background actors and like side characters are all actual high schoolers. And then sometimes maybe the joke isn't that funny, like that they think is funny while they're making this. Like the kind of like
that inside.
I like
humor.
This. Yeah, there's a lot of inside humor, a lot of like poking fun, I guess, at noir conventions, or even like there's a character who kind of has like a Marlon Brando Godfather kind of vibe going on, and it's funny enough, but like everyone makes fun of that. Maybe not at the time, I don't know, but there's a few things like that that are a little stale, I guess. And I kind of do feel like Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets like a lot of screen time compared to some of these other characters that I kind of wish I could have seen. As much as I love him and think he's a great actor, I wish I had more connection to some of these other characters. So it's mostly from a storytelling perspective. It could have been a little bit better written. But it's hard to say it was bad filmmaking. It's just not 100% perfect.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay. I agree. I think that I have quite a few dislikes. I didn't love this movie.
I mean, you have one big qualm.
What do you mean?
You don't like the idea that it's in a high school.
No, not necessarily. I just think it's a little goofy to me. Like it's like right nowadays our problem with these movies is that these characters act way too adult for their age. Like when you're ever watching Disney Channel now, like you got 12-year-olds who are acting like they're like 30s. And it's just like...
Or like Euphoria.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Euphoria is actually, I would say, pretty on point with like at least what's real today. But like in Disney Channel, it just becomes a little cheesy. So that's kind of what I thought with this. Kind of gave me Disney Channel like adult vibes of like, right, kind of
That's
like
crazy.
The Ping. Like he's just sitting in his like hole, and I get what they're trying to do. Like he's sitting in his dark basement at his mom's house, and then they cut to her giving them snacks when he's doing it.
So funny.
But it just
I think
like
it's funny.
I don't know. The entire movie wasn't funny until this scene, and I was just like, okay. And I didn't think it was hilarious in the slightest.
That's okay. I mean, the actors are playing it serious, though.
Yeah,
so it's definitely
for sure.
intentionally weird.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I just thought
So it
it
didn't
was
land
like,
with you, it
yeah,
seems
I thought it was a little bit too goofy. I didn't love actually Joseph Gordon-Levitt's acting in this. I think he played a really safe character in his just acting choices. In terms of like physical action and then the way that he delivered some of his lines, I was just like, and I get it. He's young in his career. Maybe he's still figuring it out. But like that's just like a ding that I would give to this movie. And then I would say that this movie seems a lot like what is it, Beneath the Silver Lake or Under the Silver Lake?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, so this is, I would say maybe Under the Silver Lake is a little bit derivative of this, but Under the Silver Lake does it way better.
I mean, they're doing different things, though, I would say. I mean,
Not necessarily.
yeah, they're doing different things.
I mean,
they're doing something kind of different.
the outcome is different, but
I think the intentionality behind both filmmakers is
well,
different.
sure, but they're still telling a similar story, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they're both just derivative of anything David Lynch has made.
For sure. That's true.
From what I understand, the soundtrack was by Rian Johnson's brother. I can't remember his first name, but they intentionally tried to make a soundtrack that was inspired by Twin Peaks. So, kind of an interesting tidbit, I guess.
Well, so anyway, I mean, again, this movie isn't all that bad. There's just times where I was just like getting taken out of it. I thought that sometimes in these films, when you go too deep into something, you lose track of what they're really trying to do. And for me, that's kind of what happened. It became kind of like a Mandalorian episode where it's like, well, go do this now, and then you'll get this, and go do this now, and then you'll get, and it was just like, okay, come on. So, yeah, overall, I would still say it's a decent movie. Would I want to watch it again? Heck no. It was way too long for me.
I own this movie. I would
never
movie.
watch this again. I can't do it.
It's fun.
It could be true. But I will say I have liked 3 out of our 4 noir movies this month. And that's probably a record.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a good record.
Yeah, that might be.
Anyway, okay, so
I think you liked most of them last year, though.
I think I did. Maybe besides that one with what's-his-face in it, the Christmas one.
The Christmas one.
It has the same guys from Some Like It Hot. Or the same guy. We watched...
Oh, The Apartment?
Yes.
We watched that for Christmas. That's not a noir film.
Oh. Okay, never mind. I thought we definitely...
Tragic comedy.
I thought we definitely watched it for Noirvember. Anyway, okay. Any final thoughts on Brick?
No, but the movie we just reviewed is called Brick.
Yeah, so if you
For
guys
those of
are
you wondering.
looking to find out what this movie is, it's called Brick, and you can type in Brick on Prime Video, and Brick, the movie, should pop up. 2005, it's called Brick. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt stars in Brick. So for all of you,
Love it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, McLovit. Anyway, guys, so thank you for watching our episode on Brick, and that's the end of Noirvember, guys. So we are going to be quickly moving on into December. Christmas time is here, so we are going to be doing a little series on Christmas, and then time to kick off the new year of all of our alliterations of the month.
Yeah, we have a lot of themed months coming your way, so get ready.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share our podcast. We love that you're here. We want to keep doing this sort of thing, so make sure you please support our channel. We would greatly appreciate it. But until then, we will see you next week for the beginning of our Christmas special.
That's a Clean Slate.